I'll start from the top. My name's Jack. I'm 42. I own a small but thriving business custom home renovations, if you're curious. Nothing glamorous, but it pays well, and I built it from scratch. Always liked the idea of being my own boss, not answering to anyone, making my own luck. I grew up working summers with my uncle, learned the trade, worked my way up, saved every damn penny. By 30, I had my own crew. By 35, I had my own office. Simple story of a guy with calloused hands and stubborn pride. And somewhere along the way, I met Charlene. Man, she was something. We met at a friend's barbecue, of all places. She was 24, then a little younger than me, and she just lit up the whole backyard. You know the type. Bright laugh, quick wit, knew how to hold a beer and a conversation without missing a beat. She teased me about burning my burger. I teased her about her flip-flops being ugly as sin. By the end of the night, she gave me her number written on a napkin that already had ketchup on it. 3 years later, we were married. And for a while, life was good. We bought a house on a quiet street with old trees and nosy neighbors. I built a workshop out back. She painted the nursery herself when our first daughter was on the way. We had 2 girls, Marissa and Darcy, the light of my damn life. I worked. She stayed home, by choice. She always said she wanted to focus on the kids, the house, making a warm home. And she was good at it. PTA meetings, birthday parties, those little handwritten lunch notes for the girls. We were that family, you know the one. On the outside, we looked perfect. We even had matching Christmas pajamas one year. Yeah, that's how deep I was in. But the thing about perfect, it's just the highlight reel. The first cracks, they don't come with fireworks. They're quiet. I started noticing little things. Charlene stopped hugging me when I walked in the door at night. Stopped kissing me goodbye in the morning. At first, I chalked it up to stress the kids, the house, the million little chores nobody ever thanks you for. She got more distant, like she was there, but not there. You ever sit across from someone you've known for years and feel like you're looking at a stranger? That was me, sitting at the dinner table, watching her pick at her food, eyes on her phone, pretending she didn't notice me watching her. And the phone that became another thing. She started keeping it close, like really close. Never left it on the counter anymore. Always face down, always locked. If it buzzed, she'd check it and smile to herself, then shove it back in her pocket like nothing happened. And God help me, I tried to ignore it. Because the truth is, I loved her. Still do, in some weird, sad way. I told myself, it's just a phase. Everyone goes through rough patches. She's tired. She's overwhelmed. Don't read too much into it. But at night, lying there, staring at the ceiling while she worked late on the computer in the other room, that little flicker of doubt just kept growing. And you know what the worst part is? When you do feel that flicker, you start noticing everything. Like how she'd take longer showers, how she'd come home with a new blouse she forgot to mention buying, how she'd laugh a little too hard at her texts, but go stone-faced when you asked what was so funny. I wanted to believe her. I really did. Because when you've built a life with someone, when you've got kids, a mortgage, a dog, the whole damn picket fence, you don't just throw it away over a feeling. So I told myself, be patient. Don't jump to conclusions. She's your wife. She wouldn't do that to you. And for a while, I believed my own lie. Until the day I couldn't anymore. But we'll get to that part. For now, just know this. I was a good husband. I worked hard. I loved my girls. I came home every night. And if Charlene was unhappy, I would have moved mountains to fix it, if only she'd told me. Instead, she chose something else. And brother, that's when the story really starts. So, you want to know when the truth finally crawled out from under the rock? It was a Tuesday. And I only remember that because Tuesdays are when Charlene used to grocery shop. She came home later than usual, like way later, but she waltzed in like nothing was off. Hair still perfect, not a single bag of groceries in sight. And she actually hummed as she hung up her coat. That's when my stomach dropped, because she hadn't hummed around me in months. I didn't say anything, just watched her putter around, setting her phone on the counter face down. Of course, then pouring herself a glass of wine. Then she looked at me, and she smirked. That smirk, man. That's when I knew. You look like you've got something to say, I told her. She took a sip of wine, leaned against the counter, and said it just like she was ordering dinner. I've been seeing someone. I just stared at her. No preamble, no apology, not even an ounce of shame. She took another sip, looked me dead in the eye. For 8 months now. And then, I swear to you, she shrugged. Don't look so surprised. He's just different from you. Better in some ways, not better in others. Just different. I didn't even feel angry at first. My brain was too busy trying to catch up. You ever get hit so hard with bad news you just go quiet? Like you're floating outside your own body? That was me. After a long pause, I managed, "You done?" She actually laughed. Then she said, and I quote, "Don't overreact. Think carefully before doing anything. You leave me, your life will be hell. I'll make sure of it." Oh yeah, that's when the switch flipped. Because I wasn't just betrayed, I was being threatened. By the same woman who used to leave little love notes in my lunchbox? By the mother of my kids. It's funny what runs through your head in moments like that. I remember thinking, who are you? And what did you do with my wife? She went on still calm, still smug. You'll still get most of my time and affection, but I won't neglect him either. He has needs too. I'll work out a schedule. A schedule. Like I was supposed to pencil in my nights with her around her little trysts. I almost laughed. Instead, I just stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out the door without a word. I could feel her eyes on my back all the way to the street. And you know what she called after me? "Don't be stupid, Jack. You'll regret it." Oh, sweetheart. Not as much as you will. I drove for hours that night. No music, no destination, just silence and the sound of my tires on the road. By the time I came back 2 days later, I had a plan. See, she expected me to blow up, to beg, to pack a bag and storm out. But that's not me. I don't do chaos. I do quiet, calculated. So I came home. And when I walked in, the girls, Marissa and Darcy, ran to me like nothing was wrong. They were thrilled to see me. And for a moment, I felt like a dad again. Once they went to bed, Charlene appeared leaning in the doorway, holding a beer out to me like nothing happened. I took it, set it down without drinking, and said just as calm as she'd been, "Here's the deal. I'll stay for the next 4 years, until Marissa turns 18. After that, I'm gone. Maybe Darcy comes with me, maybe not, but I won't be here." She blinked. "Didn't see that coming." "And one more thing," I added. "Even if you dumped him tomorrow, I wouldn't touch you again. Not now, not ever. Sloppy seconds aren't my style. You're on your own. I'll move into the spare room. Don't bother knocking." She gasped, actually gasped, then hissed, "You're being ridiculous. Things will stay the same. You'll see. Now go to bed." I chuckled. "No, Charlene, you go to bed. I've got better things to do." And as I walked to the spare room, I heard her mutter under her breath, "Idiot. I still love you. Too late, sweetheart. Too damn late." You're probably wondering, why the hell did I stay? Why not just pack my bags, call a lawyer, and burn the whole thing to the ground? Believe me, I thought about it. But then I thought about Marissa and Darcy, my girls. The way Marissa would sit at the kitchen table doing homework and ask me questions she already knew the answers to just so we could talk. The way Darcy would crawl into my lap after soccer practice, sweaty hair sticking to her forehead, and tell me about how she almost scored today. And I thought, if I walk out now, who's protecting them? Who's making sure they don't grow up thinking the circus is normal? So, yeah, I stayed. But not for her. For them. That first night back in the house, after she'd hissed her little "you're being ridiculous" speech and stormed off to her bedroom, I lay awake in the spare room, staring at the ceiling, and I made a choice. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to let her see me bleed. I was going to make her regret it. Quietly. Patiently. And when the time came, I'd walk away clean. Next morning, after the girls left for school, I found her in the kitchen, sipping coffee like nothing had happened. She looked up at me, all fake sweetness. "You finally came to your senses?" she asked. I pulled out a chair, sat down, and let out a breath. "Charlene," I said, calm as a preacher at a funeral. "You and I? We're done." Her smile faltered. "I'm staying for the kids. That's it. You and me? We're just two people under one roof, nothing more." I watched her eyes narrow, but I kept going. "I'll be here until Marissa turns 18. Then I'm gone. You can tell your lover whatever you want, but you better tell him he's not welcome in this house. Not while I'm here, not ever." She tried to cut in, but I raised a hand. "I won't share your bed. I won't pretend. You do what you want on your time, just don't let it touch the girls, and don't let it touch me." Her cheeks flushed, but she stayed quiet. One more thing, I added, leaning in just enough to make my point. I'm not staying celibate for you. I'm not out looking. But if someone offers, and she's not married, don't expect me to say no. She gasped and finally found her voice. You wouldn't dare, she hissed. I just smiled. Oh, sweetheart, you have no idea what I'm capable of. Then I stood up, grabbed my coffee, and walked away. And inside? Oh, I was burning. I wanted to scream, to punch a hole through the wall, to throw her phone into the garbage disposal and watch it spark. But I didn't. Because anger's easy. Cold? Cold takes discipline. And right then, I decided if she wanted a war, fine. But it was gonna be on my term, and she'd never see it coming. So here's the thing about being in construction and running your own business. You get good at solving problems quietly. And boy, did I have a problem. The day after my little kitchen monologue, I started laying the groundwork. I waited until she took the girls to the mall, then opened up my office computer and pulled up the old keystroke logger I'd installed years ago. Back then, it was just to make sure the kids weren't Googling God knows what, but Charlene had forgotten all about it. Oh, honey, bless your little heart. That was just the start. I ordered a couple of discrete cameras online. Nothing fancy, you can get good ones now that look like USB chargers or smoke detectors. Had them shipped to my office, not the house. Installed 2 in the kitchen, 1 in the living room, 1 in her car. Took me an afternoon. By the time she came home, the place looked exactly the same. I also swapped out her phone charger with a little device that mirrored her texts and calls to me. And because she thought she was clever, I slipped a GPS tracker into her purse. That evening, she flopped onto the couch with her wine, scrolling her phone like usual. I sat at the kitchen table, pretending to go through invoices, while my tablet lit up with her texts in real time. And let me tell you, she didn't even try to be subtle. There it was. Can't wait for Friday night, Sif. And his reply, same here. You looked amazing today. I almost laughed out loud. I mean, if you're gonna cheat, at least be smart about it. But this was amateur hour. A couple nights later, I watched on my tablet as she snuck out to meet him. My cameras caught her slipping on lipstick by the door, giggling into her phone. She actually skipped on the way to her car. And when she got back, she tiptoed inside like a teenager breaking curfew, completely oblivious to the fact that I was already watching the footage in bed. God, it was almost fun. I started keeping a little folder on my desktop called For My Attorney. Screenshots, dates, times, video clips, copies of emails she thought she'd deleted. She even made online purchases for motel rooms and little surprises billed under fake names, and my logger caught it all. It was like she wanted to get caught. And the more I saw, the colder I got. No more doubt. No more pain. Just clarity. Every smirk she gave me at dinner, saved. Every kiss she texted him while our kids were in the next room, saved. Every cheap little lie she thought she got away with, saved. Piece by piece, I was building my case. And the best part? She still thought she was in control. She'd strut around the house, thinking I was too dumb or too proud to notice. Meanwhile, I'd sit there sipping my coffee, smiling at her, already planning her downfall. And you know what? That smile scared her more than yelling ever could, because she didn't know what I knew. And I wasn't about to tell her. Not yet. Once I had enough evidence to sink her twice over, I decided it was time to have a little fun. Tighten the screws. Because here's the thing. She thought she was in charge. Thought she could keep juggling her little fantasy life while I kept paying the bills and pretending not to notice. Not anymore. First, I shut down her credit cards. Quietly. Left just enough money in the joint account for groceries and gas, but everything else? Locked. I called the bank, froze her cards, and rerouted all statements to my office. Next, her phone. I ordered her a shiny new one, looked just like the old one, but it only allowed calls to a short list of pre-approved numbers. Mine, the school, the kids' doctors, her mother. If she tried to call anyone else, it'd disconnect and reboot. The morning it arrived, I handed it to her at the kitchen table with a big grin. New phone, I said. Yours was acting up? She looked at me funny, but took it anyway. Later that day, she tried to call Loverboy. The line cut. She tried again. Cut. That's when my phone rang. Her voice was shaking somewhere between angry and scared. What the hell is wrong with this phone? She demanded. I chuckled. Nothing wrong with it, I said. It just doesn't work for him anymore. Click. No explanation. No apology. just enough for her to know that I knew and that I was done playing dumb. Then I moved on to her little shopping habits. I canceled her online accounts, changed the passwords on the laptop, blocked her favorite stores. By dinner, she was pacing around the kitchen like a caged cat. I watched her out of the corner of my eye, hiding a smirk. It only got better. That night, after she thought I'd gone to bed, she called him on the house phone, which I'd also bugged. I sat in my office and listened. "Baby," she whispered, "he's being impossible. He froze my cards. My phone won't work. I don't even know how much money is left. I can't take this anymore." There was a pause. Then his voice flat, annoyed. "Calm down. Give it a few days. If you push too hard, he might actually do something crazy." "Oh, buddy, if only you knew." She started to cry. "I can't even buy groceries without asking him. He's watching everything I do. You promised this would be easy." That's when I heard it. The first crack. He sighed long and heavy, then said, "Look, we need to slow down, okay? I can't blow up my life right now just because you're freaking out." Her voice went small. "So what? You're just gonna leave me hanging?" Another pause. Then him. "I didn't say that. I need space. Figure things out." And right there in my quiet little office, I actually laughed. Because I knew that sound in her voice. Panic. She hung up without saying goodbye. And when she came to bed that night, eyes red, jaw tight, she didn't say a word to me. Just climbed under the covers like nothing happened. I laid there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, thinking, first crack, won't be the last. At some point, I realized even I couldn't do this alone. Oh, I could have kept going. Could have kept tightening the screws, kept her and Loverboy dancing. But this wasn't just about me anymore. This was about protecting my girls and making damn sure I didn't end up on the losing end when the dust settled. So I called in my people. Harry, June, and, of course, Shauna. We met at Harry's place, big house, long driveway, the kind of quiet that makes neighbors nervous. Harry and I go way back. He's a genius, like the kind of genius that makes other geniuses feel dumb. Built his first $1 million business before he could legally drink, married June, and never looked back. June, sharp as a razor, always knew what everyone in the room was thinking before they did. She'd smile at you while mentally undressing your entire plan and pointing out its flaws. And then there was Shauna. Oh, Shauna, ex-military, black belts, eyes like she could see right through you. The kind of woman who could make you feel safe and scared at the same time. I sat down at their kitchen table, took a sip of Harry's overpriced whiskey, and laid it all out. Everything. Charlene, the affair, the threats, the evidence. When I was done, nobody said anything for a moment. Then June leaned back, crossed her arms, and said, "Well, she really picked the wrong husband to play games with." Shauna just smirked. "You want me to break his legs or hers first?" I actually laughed. First time in weeks. Harry shook his head. No violence yet. You've already got her cornered, Jack. What you need now is an exit strategy and a way to keep the girls out of the line of fire. That's why I liked Harry. Always thinking 2 moves ahead. We started brainstorming. "How tied up is your house?" he asked. "Still in my name. Bought it before we married," I said. He nodded. "Good. That's your leverage. But you can't just kick her out without looking like the bad guy in court. What you can do is make sure you have your own space separate but equal and document everything." June chimed in. "Remodel the basement. Turn it into an apartment. Separate entrance, utilities, everything. That way, when you file, you're already living apart but still in the same home for the kids." Shauna raised an eyebrow. "That's smart. Cleaner. Less drama. But if you want the other option," she cracked her knuckles. I grinned. "Not yet, but keep that in your back pocket." We spent hours talking. Harry sketched out timelines and contingencies. June pulled up real estate comps and even called a contractor friend. Shauna? She sat there, arms folded, just watching me. At one point, she leaned over and said, low enough that only I could hear, "She's not worth your rage, Jack. Save it for something better." That stuck with me. When we finally wrapped up, I shook Harry's hand, hugged June, and tried to thank Shauna for showing up. She just winked and said, "You're not done yet. Don't thank me until it's over." Driving home that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not anger, not panic, control. Because now I had a plan, and she wouldn't even see it coming. Once the basement plans were in motion and my evidence folder was thick enough to choke a horse, it was time to take the first shot. Not at her, at him. See, it wasn't enough for me to just watch them squirm in private. Oh no. I wanted him to feel it where it hurts most: his reputation, his wallet, his little sense of superiority, and I had just the way to do it. You remember how Charlene met him? He worked as a county permit inspector. Yeah, my county. He actually signed off on a workshop addition I built years ago. That's how they started chatting. Lunches, long site visits, the whole cliche. What he didn't know? I knew his boss. Better yet, I knew his boss's boss. So I set up a lunch meeting at a quiet steakhouse with the county commissioner. We've done business together before big renovations on his lake house. Over ribeye and bourbon, I laid it out. Fred, I said, I'm thinking about moving my business across the county line. Hanover's offering better tax incentives. He blinked. Why the hell would you do that? You've been good to this community. I leaned back, sipped my drink, and gave him the look. Because your permit guy is sleeping with my wife. On county time. On county property. And I've got video to prove it. You could have heard a pin drop. He just stared at me, then quietly set down his fork. You serious? He asked. I slid a little envelope across the table. Dead serious. Inside? Still frames, dates, times, audio transcripts, the works. Fred didn't even finish his steak. He just muttered, "Give me a week." Didn't even take that long. By Friday, Loverboy was invited to attend a 3-day training seminar out of town. While he was gone, his office was quietly cleaned out. HR walked him off county property that Monday morning before he even finished his coffee. No headlines, no fuss. But everyone in the department knew. They always know. That night, Charlene came home pale and shaking. She stomped into the kitchen, slammed her purse on the counter, and hissed, "What did you do?" I didn't even look up from my paper. "What do you mean?" I asked, calm as a corpse. "Don't play dumb with me," she snapped. He lost his job. His wife's throwing him out. He called me crying." I finally looked up at her. "Oh," I said, letting the word hang in the air. Then I smirked. Well, actions have consequences. Who knew? Her jaw dropped. And for the first time since this whole mess started, she had nothing to say. After he was out of the picture, job gone, wife gone, reputation in pieces, I turned my attention back where it really mattered. Her. And this time, I wasn't just gathering evidence. I was preparing for the kill. I met with my attorney, old family friend, shark in a suit, the kind of guy who makes grown men sweat without raising his voice. We went through everything. Timeline, video, emails, witnesses. By the end of our second meeting, he just shook his head and said, "Jack, this is gift wrapped. You've got her dead to rights." We drafted everything, filed quietly. No theatrics. Just one fat envelope slid across the breakfast table one morning. "Sign it when you're ready," I told her. "Don't make me drag this out." She stared at the papers like they were written in another language. Then she looked up at me, eyes wide, voice small. "You're really doing this?" I didn't blink. "Yep." For the girls, I handled it gently. Sat them down in the man cave after school, put my arms around them, and told them the truth, or at least enough of it. "Your mom and I, we're not going to be married anymore, but nothing changes for you. You're still my girls. You'll always have me." Marissa cried. Darcy buried her face in my chest. I held them until they fell asleep. That night, when Charlene tried to talk to me, I cut her off. "This is happening. Don't make a scene in front of them. You already did enough damage." When the court date came, she walked in looking like she was going to a funeral. Black dress, hair perfect, hands trembling. The judge, middle-aged woman, sharp eyes, no patience, glanced through the file, then looked at me. "You've been living apart?" she asked. I nodded. "Basement apartment, separate entrance, 26 paces from my daughter's rooms." Even the judge raised an eyebrow at that one. "Well," she said, "that shows some foresight." Then she turned to Charlene. "You understand what this means? You'll be entitled to support for the children, but no claim to his business or assets beyond what's here?" Charlene tried to speak, but I cut in. "She understands, Your Honor. We've been over it." The judge signed the papers. Done. As we walked out of the courtroom, she grabbed my arm. "Please," she whispered. "Jack, we can fix this. I made a mistake. I still love you. Please don't do this." I stopped, turned to her, and said, calm as ice, You wanted someone else. You got him. Now live with it. Then I pulled my arm away and kept walking. Didn't even look back. You'd think after something like that, I'd feel empty. And for a while, I did. But then, I started breathing again. After the divorce was final, I stayed in the basement apartment at least until Marissa turned 18. The girls preferred it down there anyway. Said it felt cozy. I let them paint their room however they wanted. Posters, string lights, the works. I sold the business to Harry. Stayed on as a consultant. Just enough to keep busy, but not enough to drown in paperwork. For the first time in years, I had weekends. So I used them. Took the girls hiking. We went fishing at the lake. Barbecued in the yard without anyone glaring at me from the kitchen window. One Friday, Darcy walked into the man cave with a big grin and said, "Daddy, you're smiling." I laughed. Guess I forgot how. Then came Shauna. She'd always been around. In the background, Harry and June's right hand, helping with the girls during vacations, making sure nobody broke an ankle on a camping trip. But after the dust settled, she started dropping by more often. At first, it was casual, checking in on the kids, bringing over dinner because you probably forgot to eat, teaching Marissa how to throw a proper punch when some boy at school got too handsy. She'd lean against the counter, arms crossed, watching me cook. "You know," she said one night, "you're not half bad at this whole single dad thing." I raised an eyebrow. "And you're not half bad at pretending you're just here for the kids." That got me a smirk. We started taking the girls out together road trips, camping weekends, late-night movie marathons with too much popcorn. And somewhere along the line, it stopped being about the kids. One evening, after the girls had gone to bed, we sat out on the porch, sipping whiskey. She looked at me, really looked at me, and said, quiet, "You deserve to be happy, Jack. You know that, right?" I didn't answer right away, but I couldn't stop smiling. Because for the first time in a long damn time, I believed her. So, here we are. A few years later, Marissa's in college now, studying engineering, building bridges, literally all over the country. Darcy's finishing high school, already taller than me, already smarter than me. And me? Still here, still standing, still smiling. Shauna and I eventually stopped pretending it was just about helping with the kids. We bought a house by the lake, big yard, 2 massive pontoons tied up at the dock, and a grill I'm probably a little too proud of. The girls come over every weekend they can. And Shauna? She's everything Charlene pretended to be. Strong, loyal, knows how to laugh at me when I take myself too seriously, and knows how to shut me up when I don't take things seriously enough. Funny how that works, isn't it? As for Charlene, well, she got married again and divorced again. Turns out you can't fix a broken pattern with another wedding dress. I see her sometimes when she drops by to pick up the girls, but now she's just quiet. Bitter. Time hasn't been kind to her. But then again, she made her choices. And me? I made mine. What did I learn? A few things. 1, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. 2, anger burns fast. But ice? Ice lasts. And 3, no matter how bad it feels in the moment, you will laugh again. You will smile again. And you might even find someone who knows how to love you the way you deserve. So yeah, I still get up early. I still work just enough to keep my hands busy. And most nights, I sit out on that porch, Shauna at my side, kids laughing somewhere inside, and I watch the sun drop behind the trees. I think about how far I came. And I think, not bad, Jack. Not bad at all. Life's funny like that. You think you're drowning, and then one day you look around and realize you're already on the shore. And you're not just standing, you're dancing. Or, in my case, grilling. Either way, it's good to be alive.